Joining me now is Andrew Pollard, President and CEO at Blackrock Silver. Great to see you.
Great to be here. Thank you for having me.
So 3 deposits in Nevada, including the queen of the silver camps. I love that name. and this is a prolific area among the highest grade primary silver districts in the world. So a little overview, if you could, just to start.
Yeah, well, this is the Tonno Silver District, which we've consolidated the unmined extension of. It is known as the Queen of the Silver Camps. It's second only to the Comstock Lode in Nevada in terms of historic silver districts. And what we've shown in 3 years of drilling, 90 years after the last mine produced an ounce, we've shown the old timers left a heck of a lot behind. We've got 100 million ounces we've drilled out in just the span of 3 years, and it's the highest grades of any large project in the entire industry. So over a half kilogram per ton. And in our silver equivalents, it's just silver, and our pesky byproduct is gold. So you process it, you're left with silver, gold, and beach sand. And it's right on patented claims, walking distance to the town of Tonopah. I've got 100 million ounces across the street from Burger King.
You said that before, that's not a joke, right?
No, absolutely. Yeah. No, there's a Subway sandwich shop there too. You got it. There's a brewery a couple blocks away. It's fantastic. It's a lot like Val-d'Or, this mining camp. It's about 3 hours from Las Vegas along the highway that connects Vegas to Reno, and we're about the halfway point there. So literally along the highway, on either side of it, you've got 40 million ounces on one side and about 60 million ounces on the other. And yeah, pick your poison. You got whatever you want down there. It's fantastic.
Yeah, excellent. So you updated your resource estimate at Tonopah West, and you touched on the amount there, more than 100 million equivalent ounces. And just to run through some other numbers here, resource estimate jumped 135% from last time, tonnage up 106, the grade's higher by 14. So go through some of those highlights and why you're calling this, and you've been touching on it, but why you're calling this really an unparalleled asset.
Yeah, well, I mean, we nearly tripled our resource in just the span of the last 18 months, and we're really piecing things together very quickly. I mean, we made a consequential discovery there last year after we put our maiden resource out, which really acted as a decoder ring for the whole system in terms of which way the vein corridor was going. We're adding ounces at a rate of 29 cents an ounce for discovery costs, which is unheard of for Nevada. And one of the things I like about this project is we constrain this more than most companies would. When I say we're the highest grade story out there, we are, but we also present in block diluted grades where pretty much everyone else presents undiluted as a way of jacking up their grades in tons. We don't. And in terms of the silver industry, there's not many large deposits to begin with. We're not a zinc mine pretending to be a silver mine. We're not a lead mine pretending to be a silver mine. We're silver and gold. But one of the things is that, even though silver-rich deposits are incredibly rare, like 90% of them are really, really low-grade marginal projects where every single thing has to go right. Silver and gold prices tank. This is still going to be a very, very high margin deposit. If I were to double the cutoff grades and go to a 400 gram per ton cutoff, we're still left with 70 million ounces at just under 800 grams per ton. This is a project that every major mining or mid-tier silver and gold producer would want to have in their portfolio, because you're not gonna end up with egg on your face. This isn't one where the light switch is ever going to get turned off once you get going again.
And that's not all. You've got Silver Cloud, Banan's a great discovery there, and you're nicely situated between the Midas and Hollister mines owned by Hecla, and you call that the hole in the donut, which I like that metaphor. That's a nice image. So you're defining targets there. Can you give us an update on what you're doing?
Yeah, well, we've got the 45 square kilometer hole in Hecla Mining's claim block down there between two very famous ultra high grade mines, the Midas mine, which is just northwest of us, and the Hollister mine, which is directly abutting our project to the east. And both of those systems actually point directly at our project, Silver Cloud, up there. Last year on what was a 3 drill hole program, we had to hit our minimum work commitments with the vendor. We were preparing probably just to drop the project because Tonopah clearly emerged as, the clear flagship. But on drill hole number 3, we hit 70 grams gold and 600 grams silver over 1.5 meters. And it lined up like a rifle looking at the Midas mine system, which was the basis for Franco-Nevada to get in the mine building business. And when Pierre sold that to Newmont, that was the one reason why Newmont was able to stay profitable in the early 2000s. It was a cash cow.
Right, Pierre Lassonde.
Yeah, produced at 30 grams per ton head grade. We always thought the target there, if we were successful, we'd hit something that might be, 30 grams per ton to match the Midas mine. We hit double that. And we think we can start piecing it together in terms of where this system's growing. But most importantly is, if I'm Hecla, looking at, the oldest American silver producer in the industry, we've just put together Tonopah, showed that it's got a lot more life to live. There's built-in expansion potential down there. It's something that they'd probably want and anyone else would want. But if I can also get a Silver Cloud in there too and muddy the waters for their stuff in northern Nevada and in terms of tying together what they've got, because they've got a mine on care and maintenance up there built. So, we've got a hell of a portfolio now. But obviously Tonopah is the clear contender. And I mean, hell, our resource isn't even priced in yet. I mean, we haven't even filed the report. So once that gets out, I think is when the games will really begin here.
And one more thing, as Steve Jobs used to say, Tonopah North, discovery of lithium in a joint venture partnership. But you say you're discovering significant lithium zones. So how does that fit into the puzzle?
Well, it's interesting. Tonopah is a very cool place because not only is it a very famous historic silver district, but it's emerging as the Carlin trend of lithium deposits. You've got some of the largest lithium deposits in the world. In fact, one of them is right next door to us. Emerging with these lithium clay deposits right at surface. And really the breakthrough there, just as with the Carlin trend of the 1960s, the breakthrough was in how to process it. While recently in the last 10 years, there's been breakthroughs in terms of recovering the lithium from the clays. And now all of a sudden you're seeing these massive surface deposits come online. We're right next to a project called, it's owned by American Lithium. They just put out a $3 billion NPV economic assessment on their project, establishing it as one of the lowest cost operations in the world. And we're right next door. So when we were searching for gold and silver on some big step outs of the district, we didn't hit any, but we hit lithium in every single drill hole at similar grades to the American Lithium's project right next door. So last year, immediately after hitting these grades, we had people beating down our door to do a deal. We did a joint venture earn-in style agreement with a company called Tirlac. They drilled 11 core holes this year, hitting every single drill hole once again hit. They've now drilled out 7.2 square kilometers with thick blanket of lithium right at surface. And part of that deal is we retain all mineral rights other than lithium with them. So they can earn into a 70-30 joint venture, spend their money, not ours, use their expertise, not ours, because we're gold and silver chasers. And I think, they'll quickly have a resource on that next year at some point, at which point the market might give us a little bit more respect for that.
All right. Now, circling back to wrap it up here with Tonopah West, you sort of touched on it. You said, Hecla obviously will be looking at you, and probably already is. So what is the end game? Is it prove it out and sell, or do you see a path to production, or is it too early to even say that?
Well, listen, it's the highest grade large development stage project in the industry. And this doesn't mean it's the highest grade mine, but what it means is that every project that has had its grade profile like ours gets built. Like, this is something that people will drive forward, whether it's us or whether someone puts a big target on our back. Right now, we went from commanding the highest ounce in the ground valuation in the industry going into this last resource. We were trading at just over $1 an ounce, or around $1 an ounce, whereas our high-grade peers are trading for about 90 cents an ounce. Well, we nearly tripled the resource, and it's not. And of course, we put it out in the thick of tax law selling. So we saw, 20 million shares trade last month, which was 4x what we did the month before that. But our ounces are now only trading for 40 or 50 cents. Our peers are trading at 90 cents. Like, just to close that valuation gap, we're looking at a double. To put this in perspective, in June of 2022, silver was the same price. It was $23, but sentiment, hadn't quite. We hadn't gotten to that point of the rate hike cycle yet. All of our high-grade ounces, ours, Vizslas, Dolly Vardens, we're trading for between $2.30 and $2.50. Now our peers are trading at 90 and we're 40 cents. All things being equal, silver price being the same, but sentiment returning, we could be looking at a 5x just right there. So we're going to slow play it certainly through, right now we're focused on getting the technical report filed. There's going to be some tidbits in there that I think the market will really like. It'll also give a lot of credibility to the corporates and to the technically driven institutions. But after that, we're going to start figuring out the low-hanging fruit, because we've got gaps along our we laid out 3 different deposit areas. We don't have 3 deposits. It's one big vein system. So we've got a little bit of infill drilling. We'll add a lot of ounces very quickly and cheaply, at which point we can drive a economic assessment on it and build a mine plan. And probably, I'd be shocked if we're still around at that point, given how rare this is. But at that point, we can make a decision to go underground or, yeah.
All right, great stuff. I'm sold. Good stuff.
Me too.
That was great. Thanks for your time, Andrew.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Andrew Pollard, President and CEO at Blackrock Silver.